How's it going, boys and girls? It's Kevin with the Burgundy Brigade, back for you again with installment number 2 of a fan's guide to bandwagons for the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Now, last time we talked about the favorites and the ones that are the most likely to go the distance and win the Stanley Cup this year. We talked about 3 of those teams. This time, we're going to change it up a bit. We're going to take a new category called the Perennials. These are the teams that are in the playoffs pretty much every year, or seemingly every year. Sometimes they go deep, sometimes they're one and done. You just never really know what's going to happen with them. If you're the type that needs a sure thing to be in the playoffs, you can say, hey, the team I'm backing is always in the playoffs, then these are one of the teams you're going to want to take a look at. The first team I'm going to start with in the perennial category is the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, chances are, if you're an NHL bandwagon fan, you're already on this bandwagon. The Hawks have probably the biggest and largest bandwagon fan base right now because of the amount of success they've had in recent years. They've also got easily one of the best combinations of talent in the league and one of the most annoying bandwagons out there. It's understandable why they get the popularity they do right now, but if you do join this bandwagon, please, for the love of God, do not pretend that you've been there from the beginning. It's just annoying. That's the thing that gets people upset when you sit there and go, "Oh yeah, I've been there since day one," but really you've only been there since the team's been good. So if you fall into this category and you don't want to admit that you've only been there since the day that they've started to be good, then just let me give you a little hint. The way you pronounce your captain's name, despite the spelling of it, is Taves. I hope that helps you. But again, the Blackhawks, they're immensely popular, immensely skilled. They frequently go deep in the playoffs. They're a good team to attach to if you're looking for one of those bandwagons to jump on. It's hard to call them a favorite because they're in one of the lower seeds, but they're a team that manages to find success all the time. So you might be disappointed with them, you might not. Next, we'll go with the Vancouver Canucks. Now, Vancouver missed the playoffs last season, but they have been a staple in the Stanley Cup playoffs for quite a while now. Another team that just has a lot of talent, but never lives up to their expectations. They got close a few years ago. They got to Game 7 at home in the Stanley Cup Finals, but managed to lose that one. They can be fun to watch. There's a lot of skill. There's also a lot of diving and a lot of whining. But if you don't take disappointment well, I would maybe stick away from going on the Vancouver Canucks fan bandwagon. Another perennial would be the St. Louis Blues, another team that makes regular visits to the playoffs and frequently has high seeds in the playoff. They are also another team that seems to make regular early exits despite consistently having one of those high seeds. The Blues like to play the bully, but they're the type of bully that kind of starts to run home crying when somebody fights back rather than be the type of bully that squashes their competition no matter who's standing up to them. This is a team that should go deep, but never really manages to find a way. Again, they're loaded with talent, and they're kind of fun to watch, but they're just plain unreliable. So if you're looking for a team that's reliable and you can pretty sure will guarantee you more than one round of the playoffs, then maybe the St. Louis Blues are not for you. Another perennial is the Pittsburgh Penguins. This is another team that has a pretty huge bandwagon base, but it's also a team that a lot of people love to hate, mostly because people love to hate Sidney Crosby. Now, I'm not on the Crosby hate wagon, but if you're one of those that likes to do what's kind of popular, then maybe you're going to want to start saying negative things about Sidney Crosby, because regardless of the fact that he's always amongst the scoring leaders in the NHL, regardless of the fact that he's clearly one of the top 2, if not the top 1 player in the world, depending on who you speak to, people love to focus on the fact that he whines a lot. And yes, he does whine a good deal, but he also fights his way through so much garbage out there and still manages to put up 90 some odd points or more every year. Speaks to the type of player that he really is. So if you kind of want to go with the stylish route, you maybe won't want to root for the Penguins. You'll just want to drop Sidney Crosby sucks every now and then. That being said, the Penguins, however, has sort of shared the same fate as a lot of these perennial teams. They should go deeper. They have a ton of talent. They have the pedigree. They've won Stanley Cups. They've won Stanley Cups in the not terribly distant past. But they frequently get bounced early in the playoffs. Towards the end of the season, this year especially, the Penguins were in absolute freefall, and frankly, we're very lucky to be in the playoffs at all right now. They could turn it around again, I mean, with the types of players that they have, but be very cautious about joining this bandwagon, as they could be gone kind of early. They might not get more than 5 games in this particular playoff year. But one thing is for certain, there's always a spectacle around the Penguins. So if you like spectacle, the Pens will definitely give you that. Another perennial team to possibly look at are the Washington Capitals. Now, the story of the Perennials seems to continue through most of these, because this is the Capitals team that is consistently in the playoffs, frequently has a high seed, but then just doesn't ever seem to get the job done when it matters. That being said, Alexander Ovechkin is reason enough alone to watch and cheer for the Capitals and get on this bandwagon. But once again, be ready for a lot of disappointment if this is the team you attach yourself to. You just don't know what you're going to get and what they're going to give you in the playoffs. They might go to the Eastern Conference Finals. They might get bounced in the first round. Who knows? Maybe this is the year they finally push through. But you risk a lot. There's a lot of disappointment possibilities here. Another perennial team to take a look at are the Detroit Red Wings. Now, the Red Wings have been in the playoffs forever. They have the current longest active streak of consecutive playoff appearances. It's over 20 years now, in 20 years in a row, and that's respect. That you have to respect just that. They've had very limited success in the playoffs in recent years. Still, they have one of the best coaches in the game and a lot of talent. They're a bandwagon that usually sees a lot of action as well, but it's one that also feels, frankly, a little bit entitled. So if you kind of like feeling important based off of the team that you root for, then maybe the Wings wagon would be for you. Well, that does it for the Perennials. Thanks for watching the video, and we'll round out the rest of the teams that are in the Stanley Cup playoffs with the next video. So stay tuned, and we'll see you then.